Hello, everybody, and welcome to Metaphysical Insights. I'm your host, William Becker, and I want to welcome you all to the show. I've decided this will be the last show of the year. The third Saturday is just too close to all the holidays, and frankly, I'll be too busy. Um, so, welcome. I hope you all had good Indigenous People Day and Thanksgiving or whatever other holidays you celebrate in November and this time of year. And welcome. There must be some kind of a tech issue or something with my guest because he's not here. So this may be a short show. And I didn't have a real backup prepared, but let's just chat for a minute about metaphysical beings and some of the ideas about this time of year and thin veils and all the rest of it. If anybody's out there that wants to post a chat, um, comments in the chat, please do. And otherwise, there's a lot of lore about uh, associated with the shortest day of the year, which is um, winter solstice, and crossing over, thin veils. And I personally don't know that there's anything more than legend with that. I don't find personally that there is more activity, not around me. I just have it anyway. So um, it's part of what I love about what I do is um, it just is there. But I'd be interested in hearing people's thoughts. And so much of this would have to do with the idea of the death as nature, so much of it, because the crops have all been harvested. Think those plants that die back have done so. The leaves, the cubs and chicks, and all the rest of it are growing, are no longer young. And people in the Paleolithic and the Mesolithic and even the Neolithic are going, is the sun coming back? It's getting rather cold here. How are we going to grow things next year if the sun doesn't come back? And we don't have great documentation about a lot of this. There's a good deal of archaeological documentation indicating the importance of keeping track of seasons in the calendars, especially the longest and shortest days. Um, and a lot of that is important for the planting and harvesting cycles. But even in Mesolithic and earlier, knowing when the seasons are getting ready to change so that you know what kind of wildlife is going to be around where, what kinds of things are going to be ready to be harvested where, that kind of thing. I can see as possibilities for reasons to keep track of all this. And then, of course, the spirituality, the passing of the soul from the body in those cultures that did believe that. Some of it you would bury the head of the family, at least, in the floor of the house because you wanted your ancestors near you and they would be near you. Um, Again, we don't have a lot of accurate detail to explain just how it all works or what everybody was thinking, but we do know there was a good deal of ritual around care of the bodies after death and a certain reverence and a certain belief in spirit, it seemed to be. Of course, when we go back to Mesopotamia, we have documents and far more archaeological evidence and written records that predate anything in Europe, especially Northern Europe and Britain. But it's all kind of fascinating, and it'd be interesting to see what other people think. Uh, there are many holidays coming up this time of year. I know bits and pieces about some of them, but they all seem to have a connection with bringing in joy and sharing and community and finding joy, peace, love. And those are all things that we all could use all the time. And so I'm actually going to go ahead and close this now and wish all of you joy, peace, and love and contentment. That contentment, as one of my closest friends tends to say, is that's more of a stable peace. Joy, happiness are emotions and they come and go, but contentment, and I'm also finding spiritual joy, is something that's more lasting and more solid. And I wish this to all of you. And I'll see you all at the first of the year. Take care, everybody. Bye bye.